Oh my God, you guys, come in, sit down, and shut the door. This is the worst Sunday ever for Diddy's team, and baby, they are doing cartwheels to try to save this sinking ship. Y'all, listen, Diddy's team just filed a new motion. Now, listen, a lot of people are trying to be like, oh my God, they got Bonna, they gonna get her for perjury. But let me give you some real insight. You ever read something so legally flimsy and emotionally desperate that you can feel the panic coming off the page? Because that's exactly what this latest filing from Diddy's legal team is. It's a frantic attempt to erase Bonna's testimony. You know Bonna, the one that said that he hung her over a balcony, Cassie's balcony on the 17th floor, and so many people were running with, oh my God, she perjured herself. She lost the jury. She lied. And I said, y'all, this actually happened. Diddy is the one gaslighting a nation. Well, guess what? The federal government hit back and said, baby, you want to call a witness a liar? We're bringing in hardcore proof that it happened and proof that it's obstruction, right? Well, get this. Back to Diddy's latest legal filing. Their attempt to erase Bonna's testimony. Not because it isn't true, but because it's far too true to survive a cross-examination. Now, we're talking about that FaceTime call from a man tied to Diddy, Rob Holiday. Used to be one of Bonna's closest friends, but after that call, they fell out. Because get this, and keep this in mind as we walk you through what's going on with this latest legal filing that was filed at the 11th hour. This call was placed before Bonna had told a soul she was considering legal action. It's the kind of thing that screams obstruction, or at the very least consciousness of guilt. But instead of addressing the substance, Diddy's lawyers are doing what powerful men and their accomplice women have always done when the truth gets too close. They're going to try to argue this out in paperwork. Okay, let's get into this, okay? Because let's call this what this filing really is. It's a legal tantrum. On June 5th, Diddy's lawyer submitted a letter to the judge begging, not asking, but begging that the court throw out testimony from a woman named Miss Bongolan, or as we know her, Bonna. And not because it's false, but because it's too dangerous to the defense. Again, let me explain. Bonna received a FaceTime call from a man named Rob Holiday, a music producer who just happened to be chilling in Diddy's backyard, during which he flat out told her that he knew she was considering legal action after what happened to her. But here's the key point. At that point, she hadn't told anybody about any lawsuit. So, how would Rob Holiday, how would this man, who was allegedly just a friend of Diddy's, know to call her about a situation she never went public with, never spoke to anybody outside of Cassie and the people in that apartment, and a man that happened to be sitting in Diddy's phone call in Diddy's backyard, making alleged $1 million settlement offers? Well, baby, someone told him. And that someone, the prosecution is saying, is likely Sean Take That Combs. Now, baby, what's Diddy's legal team's defense? That everybody, and when I say everybody outside the courtroom seems to be falling for. Not that he didn't do it. He even moved away from she made it up. Their actual defense, Your Honor, she's either misremembering or straight up lying. This is a direct quote from these legal documents. Your Honor, it's obvious that Bonna cannot accurately recall the events, or she's simply lying. Now, let's be clear. The defense isn't disproving her. They're trying to discredit her. It's giving, Your Honor, she's confused. Your Honor, she's emotional. Your Honor, she's hysterical. Your Honor. But what it's really giving is damage control in a court filing form. Now, what exactly are they trying to get thrown out? Because it's very important people realize this. Because the Bonna thing happened. The government wants the jury to hear about Rob Holiday. Remember when we said, since you want to play that, I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in Rob Holiday to actually testify the call he made to Bonner, offering from Diddy's backyard while Diddy was next to him, offering a settlement agreement 3 days after this alleged incident happened. Okay? The government wants the jury to hear that Rob Holiday, while in Diddy's backyard sitting next to Diddy, okay, FaceTime Bonner, implying she knew she might sue. But Bonner hadn't told a soul yet that she was planning to sue. The implication is devastating because it suggests, one, that Diddy told Rob Holiday to call Bonner, and Diddy was trying to shut down this Bonner situation quietly. Now ask yourself why a man who it never happened would get their best friend to call them from their backyard to offer a settlement. This eerily what do you call it? Not replicates, but it literally has echoes of what Diddy always tries to do when he tries to settle with people out of court. Now, Diddy team wants the entire call erased from the record because this call did exist. Why, you ask? Because they say it's hearsay. In fact, the word hearsay is tossed around so many times in this document, you think it would be Diddy's next mixtape drop. Here's a direct quote. Your Honor, the statements the government seeks to elicit are clearly hearsay with no applicable exception. That's off of page 2. They're also claiming this call isn't even relevant, saying, Your Honor, the purported conversation with Rob Holiday is not relevant and should be excluded under Rule 403, again on page 2. But baby, what's the translation? Just because it looks shady doesn't mean it can be used against us. This is what they're really arguing. The law allows Diddy to settle with a woman for millions of dollars, or at least $1 million, and then claim that doesn't mean guilt? All right, I mean, maybe. But here's the real smoking gun. He was in Diddy's backyard. The government stated that Rob Holiday was calling from what looked like Diddy's backyard, and that he had a close personal and professional relationship with Diddy. And yet, the defense is acting like that's meaningless. They literally have the gall to write. Your Honor, the witness characterized Rob Holiday and Combs as mere friends, inconsistent with the notion that Rob Holiday was Combs' agent. Again, page 2. Baby, if I can call you from my backyard and offer a cash payout to someone I assaulted, I am responsible. Whether you call me a friend, an agent, or a DJ at the after party. But baby, what Diddy is really doing? I mean, listen, let's roll back on that, right? Because again, if he called from Diddy's backyard and offered a cash payout to someone else on behalf of Diddy, someone Diddy allegedly assaulted, baby, I think Diddy's responsible. Whether you had an agent, a friend, or a DJ call. I mean, that's the way I see it. Anyway, what Diddy is really doing, Diddy is trying to win on a technicality. Again, you guys, and this is the powerful thing that all these people are overlooking because they're falling for the Diddy stuff, but baby, not me, not I, they're not naive. They're not saying it didn't happen. They're saying you can't prove it right in a courtroom. This is a direct quote from page 2. Your Honor, even the facts as alleged by the government will not render the statements admissible. They want the judge to rule that the connection between Rob Holiday and Diddy wasn't formal enough to legally count. Like, oops, he's not technically on payroll, so that whole FaceTime call, it doesn't count. Sorry. Yeah, no. Let me tell you what it is. It's a technical dodge. It's a Hail Mary. It's a legal smoke bomb. They're trying to bury Bonner's story, not because it's irrelevant, but because it's dangerously credible. The coldest, most annoying part, they had the nerve to accuse the prosecution of playing dirty because the prosecution dug up the receipts. The prosecution caught Diddy red-handed. Diddy's lawyers even accused the government of trying to lead the witness into saying what they want. This is from page 3. Your Honor, the government requested permission to lead the witness. The court stated that would not be permissible. The government ignored the court's warning. So now they're saying the government is the one playing games when they're the ones out here fighting to suppress a FaceTime call that screams cover up. Baby, listen, I'm going to need Diddy to wrap this up in 5 to 10 business days because this filing is not a flex. Let's just call it. Bonna was allegedly assaulted. She got a call from someone tight with Diddy from Diddy's backyard before she even told anyone she was thinking of suing. Diddy's team tried to pay her off. Reports say that the payoff amount started at $1 million. That he was willing to start negotiation at $1 million. And now Diddy's lawyers are trying to silence her with procedural tricks and hearsay rules. They want to scrub the call, discredit the woman, blame the prosecutors, all while pretending it's business as usual. But baby, you and I both know if there's one thing Diddy's always been good at, it's making problems disappear behind the velvet rope. You guys, listen. What do y'all think about this? I do want to say one thing. This filing shows that Bonna's vindicated because they can say that she got the date wrong by a few days. Maybe it happened on the 20th. Maybe it happened the 22nd. Maybe she thought her girlfriend took the pictures that same night and maybe it got taken 3 days later. She said she was high the whole time. But one thing they can't deny is that 3 days after the incident, Rob Holiday, Diddy's good friend, and at one time Bonna's good friend, called her from something going on, a gathering at Diddy's backyard with Diddy right next to him, trying to stop her from suing and settle out of the amount. And negotiations were set to start at $1 million. Maybe, exactly. We're going to cover the story. Let us know. Don't forget, we are going to be in the courthouse live Monday through Friday. We will be on Nancy Grace, ABC Live, Nightline, and all this. Subscribe if you're tired. And make sure y'all hit that notification and subscribe. Because if you're tired of powerful men using technicalities to dodge accountability, baby, you come to the right place. Because this isn't defense law. This is dirty laundry in a silk envelope. Anyway, y'all, I thought I ate on that closing, but maybe it was too much. You know, I think this is murder you wrote, mitzvah Matlock. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.